Welcome to the Crazy Cool Family Podcast with Don and Suzanne Manning. Parents, what if we could give you the power to transform your family into something absolutely amazing?
A family where everyone is healthy, gets along, loves Jesus, and has great purpose in life.
Hey, let us flip your thinking to unlock the power God has given you to create your own Crazy Cool family. Hey parents, welcome to the Crazy Cool Family Podcast, Coronavirus Edition 2 maybe? Was that
3, 4, which way? How long have we been doing this?
Oh my goodness, it seems like a lot longer, but I think everybody's kind of settling into some new norms. Looks like we're going to be here for the month of April anyway in this period. And so my lovely and talented wife had the most incredible idea.
Well, it's more, I mean, I don't know if you call it an idea. Thanks for bragging on me, honey.
Yeah.
But what I've thought about is, what do our children think about all this that's happening? I mean, we are all living a history, but what is it? What does all this look like from our children's perspective, from their point of view?
Because as with anything, their point of view. And Jesus said, bring the little children to
Let
me.
the little children come.
Don't. And he even told us that children are going to have a different perspective on life. He told us to be like a child. So,
so they're just so authentic and they're so real, and you just have to appreciate it. And so I find myself, even in the grocery store, there was a little girl that was checking out just yesterday with me, and I wanted to turn around and say, what do you think about all this? But, we have to be 6 feet apart, which they don't even get. Like, she wasn't anywhere. She was so far not 6 feet apart. She was so close. She was just right there, and I so desperately just wanted to engage. And so what I did was I just texted a few of the kids that are in our lives. I guess I didn't text the kid themselves.
Yeah,
Not very many 5-year-olds have phones. Yeah. Hey, but texted the parents and just said, hey, will you ask your kids a few of these questions and then send me back a video response?
Right.
And it's been so much fun getting the responses back, and even hearing the parents ask the questions to the kids and having the kids all lined up. They took the project very seriously.
They did. Yes, the kids were like, "Oh, I know that one."
I know the answer to that.
Oh, that's easy. Well, this is it's so funny.
This is not from your teacher, and it's not a test.
Well, and so look on social media, because we're going to post the video of it at some point soon.
Yeah, we're
putting together the compilation of the video and putting it together. But today, we want to talk about it and just give you some examples of their answers.
Well,
and really just kind of help you relate to your children.
Perfect. We want to invite you into your children's world. And so we've got a couple questions that we ask these kids that we invite you to ask your kids, but don't limit yourself to our questions. Create your own questions.
Right. This isn't like a home learning assignment.
Yes, no, it's not. You know best how to connect with your children. You know best the questions that they need to be asked. And I loved it too, because even as the parents were asking these questions, they would tweak the questions so that it made more sense to their child. And I was like, yes, that's exactly what I want. Because the whole goal that we at Crazy Cool Family want to do is we want to build that relationship connection. We want to create a place or a way for you to connect to your children. And so for me, in this time of history, what does that look like for us to show you as parents how to connect with your kids?
Well, and Suzanne says this a lot, and I want to kind of have this, that is the theme of what we're talking about here, is that you're experiencing something that you and your kids have never experienced before.
Right.
Okay, so when that happens, and think about your kids, that's happening in their life all the time. They are experiencing things they've never experienced before.
That's the wonder of a child.
Yes.
I mean, that's the best part of a child, is to see it through the eyes of a child.
At that moment, they are a marker board. They are a whiteboard, and you get to write something on their hearts. And that is what, when you talk to them about the coronavirus period, what Suzanne had the brilliant idea of is, here's what your kids are thinking. How can you talk with them to write good things on their heart, to write the blessings on their heart? So as we go through those questions, I just want you to think about
That's
that.
good.
What are you going to write on your children's hearts? Because guess what, parents? You get this great opportunity. Your parenting life is this great opportunity to write God's love into their hearts.
Oh, for sure.
And
what I found with the answers to some of these questions is the kids really did not know. They did not know.
They don't understand.
They don't understand. And so what it did is it opened the door for these parents to say, oh, and there were so many of them that texted me back and said, oh, I didn't even realize that my child didn't know that.
Right.
I mean, and so anyway.
And so what does, before we go on the questions, one more quick note. What does lack of understanding lead to? It leads to fear.
Right.
And it leads to...
Well, what it does is lack of understanding is the unknown, and unknown leads to fear. And so if we can make the unknown known, then it closes the door so fear doesn't have access anymore, because information gives us power and empowers us to go forward and make good decisions or choices or thought processes.
And the lack of the unknown also leads to wrong conclusions. And so the more they know, the more you can talk to them, the better the relationship is, the more you will see your kids reacting well to what's going on around us.
And I think in this time in history, all these different things were thrown at us, all this new vocabulary, all these words were thrown at us. And as parents, we were trying to figure out what it meant. And so we never thought to stop and explain it to our children or tell them what these different new words, this new time that we're living in even meant. And so it's been a month out now. It's time for us to go through and talk about it now. We've resolved it in our head. We know what's going on. And so now it's time for us to share it with them.
So what are some of those questions?
All right. So the first question is, what do you think about the coronavirus? And I just want to hear every little kid's opinion on it, because it's such a new concept to them. And so many of the kids said that they thought it was good. And Dawn just made this really crazy face. They thought it was good. And I love that, because I got to watch the video. And then they would hesitate and they would say, well, no, I mean, it's bad because people are getting sick. But
it's good because my parents came home.
Yes, it's good because we've created this space in life. I mean, I feel like that now what the coronavirus has done is it's put the world on a child's pace and not on an adult's pace.
Oh, that's good.
Adults go from event to event to event. They get kids ready in the morning. They send them to school. They go to work, and then from home they go to this activity and that activity, and they fall into bed at night and they start the next day over again.
And
kids just want to play.
I was just reading in a book called Generation Z that said that our kids have less playtime than they've ever had in their lives. And we all know that. I mean, it's not, but the kids are going, wow. And we think that we have to create this manufactured existence for them.
Oh, so good.
But they don't, but the kids
they don't want that.
Want to go play.
And imagine and pretend and create
and they want to spend time with the parents, believe it or not.
Right.
But we don't really believe that. And so we've created a different life because we have to create this manufactured existence for them. And they are thinking, hey, the coronavirus is good because dad's home more.
Yeah.
The coronavirus is good. I've heard so many parents say, after the initial week or so, my girls are playing together now. Mm-hmm. My girls are in their room together.
And that is good.
Yes.
And the coronavirus made that good.
And they like that. Exactly. And so it's it's been one of the events that have happened, or one of the things that have happened as a result of that.
And so press into that if your child says it's good, and then just go through and say, well, what makes it good, so that you know. But also, parents, pay attention to when they say it's bad. And because there were a few kids that said, well, it's bad. It's really bad because people are getting sick. And what if mom gets sick, or what if dad gets sick, or what if I get sick? And so my heart just broke for them, because there is a fear there that they were just now acknowledging. And even the mom said, I had no idea he felt that way. And so just know that when you ask that question, to follow up with, well, what makes it good? Well, what makes it bad? And when they bring in that fear, reassure them that it's okay, that the disease is not hurting children as it is older people.
Well, one 5-year-old boy said, came to his dad and said, Dad, I've heard that everybody gets the coronavirus dies.
Yes.
And so
that's,
imagine the fear in his, he's
because
like,
once again, you take that as a whiteboard.
Right.
They are a whiteboard. We're not the only ones that are writing on it. So he heard from who knows where.
Another kid.
And he's written it on the whiteboard. And so now that's what he believes. And so what's written on your child's whiteboard when it comes to the coronavirus?
Yeah.
And reassure him, and then pray for him. Okay, next question.
Well, the second question was, explain quarantine in your own words.
Oh my gosh, you guys, this was hysterical when you watch it on the video. I'm just, so many kids were like, I don't know. I don't know what that means. They were like embarrassed that they didn't know. There was one little girl that whispered, I don't know. And the dad said, well, say it out loud. And she's like, and so then he sent another one, and he must have coached her. And then she said, I don't know. So many of them said, I don't know. Isn't that insane, you guys, that our kids are living in quarantine and they don't know what it means.
Right.
We just throw that word out there right and left and they don't even have an understanding of it. And so just take some time, parents, and just explain it. Just tell them just add the word to their lives. It's been added anyway.
Well, the
And
same
so-
thing happened with social distancing, because that was the next question.
The
And what does social distancing mean?
But you guys, they knew social distancing. And then social distancing has now been politically correctly changed to physical distancing because we don't want to social distance because that's bad.
Yeah.
And so we can socially interact through a distance.
6
but
feet
it's-
away.
Exactly. But that's what the kids said. The whole thing was they all knew 6 feet away. They all knew 6 feet away. And then one little girl was hysterical. The mom said, "What is social distancing?" And she said, "Oh, that's when you have to stay 6 feet away from everybody's house." And I just thought, oh my goodness, how cute is that? And so what a crazy time that we're living in, that we've had to teach our children that they have to be 6 feet away from somebody that's not in their family. In my wildest dreams, I never would have thought my children would have known that vocabulary, that would have been written on their whiteboard.
Yeah.
There was one little, just share this funny
All
little
we
thing.
knew was keep away from strangers.
Yeah, exactly. That's so good. One little boy said, "Well, the best way I can describe social distancing is like Darth Vader. He could attack from pretty far away." It's like, and that's about how far you need to be.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so so just explain to them social distancing, flip it to physical distancing, and I think you'll be surprised to know that they actually do know what that means.
Well, and I think the wrap up of that little section is kind of, there's new things being introduced to them. The virus, social distancing, quarantine, things we've never seen. And so as that comes in, what are you talking about with your kids, and what are you asking questions about?
good.
What do they know and not know? You'll be surprised maybe at what they know and don't know. But
good.
then you kind of transitioned and you said into more of the, what do you like about home learning? Again, another term that they maybe haven't heard before.
But it very much affects them. I mean,
Right.
well, now I know that these other words kind of affect them. They can live in quarantine and not even know what it means, but they very much, home learning affected them. They had to leave their classroom. They had to leave
Yeah.
their friends. They had to leave their teacher. They had to be taught by a mom who is also the cook and the chauffeur and the house cleaner and the
and
shopper.
so many people changed roles in their lives overnight.
So many. Yes.
And I know for me, and I think this has happened for kids too, we didn't see this coming at all.
Right.
You know, it was like one day life was normal.
And we had toilet paper.
Exactly. And then the next day, it was totally different. I mean, now everything's shut down. I mean, can you imagine that in the life of a kid? I mean, at least we could look back to, oh yeah, in 1918 we had the smallpox, whatever the Spanish flu or whatever it was. At least there was some historical,
Precedent,
precedent
yes.
or whatever. But for a kid that's 7 years old, this is totally out of their realm. And so home learning has been a big part of that.
Yeah, and so one of the things that they really liked about it is they liked the freedom of the schedule. That so many of them said that when I get bored with my work or I'm frustrated with my work or don't want to do it, that I can go outside and play, and mom lets me
Right.
go outside and play. She lets me run out and play.
And we also heard everybody say about snacks.
Oh,
It's
so much.
funny.
I think I did a post on snacks because there's so many. And then the thing that they said that they don't like about home learning, I mean, most all of them said that they liked mom being their teacher. One said they liked mom was an easy teacher, easier than their teacher. But what they don't like about it is the actual work of learning, of the
'Cause there's more
school
work.
work themselves. Well, I doubt that there's more
Well,
work.
it's more
but
work that they have to do at home because they're equating it to homework.
Exactly. Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good,
Yeah. So, but they're saying,
because
oh,
it's their only experience is that when I'm at home, it's homework and it's just a worksheet. But now it's like 5
because they're doing the
worksheets.
whole school, or a
Yes.
lot of the work in school. So actually, they're doing less work than they were being at school. But to them, it's more work, and they're like, "Oh my goodness, this takes forever." But
Yes. And so it made me feel for the teachers. I mean, whose job is to keep our children in a teaching environment all day long without the thousands of snacks
Right.
and without the free time to go run out and have recess every 30 minutes. I mean,
Yeah.
guys, we got to pray for our teachers. I mean, starting right now, all the
Well,
teachers
so
are like, yes.
I want to design a system where the teachers can buy snacks from me, so when they go back, they can have the
Send in
snacks. 'Cause-
so many snacks.
yes,
But I do encourage you just on this one is to ask your children, what do you like about learning from home? What are we doing that you like? What are we doing that you don't like? What can we do? What would you like to add into our home learning day? And just invite them in, because when as a human, our human nature, when we have ownership of something, then we do better at it.
Right.
And so invite them into that home learning experience.
Yeah, and realize that other than the socialization, I think one of the things we found is that kids like the home learning they like the home, so that they like that they're not having to sit in classrooms and things like that, but they do also miss the social activities.
And that's definitely,
and
so glad you brought that up. That's
how do you deal with that? And what are you
Mm-hmm.
missing? Because I mean, even I was talking to a friend of mine who's on the school board at a town, and he was saying that they're dealing with certain depression type issues, and because kids are especially social kids. There's certain kids that love being
so
introverted. Is your kid introverted or they extroverted? Because the extroverted kids are going, man, I really miss. And why is your kid down? Well, maybe they're not getting social attention or whatever.
And that's what that was the answer, that every single one of the kids that said, what do you not like about it? Friends, not being able to see my friends, not being able to hang out with my friends. And so that is very valuable. So pay attention to that and figure out a way. Like yesterday, my neighbor across the street turned 18 and she had a drive-by birthday party. And so there was just cars up and down the street. And so figure out a way for your kids to have a play date from afar, whether it's either FaceTime or something like that, so that they can have that little social connection.
Well, and that leads to the next question you asked them, which was share your favorite memories made so far.
And so I want you to ask your kids this and it's really a question for you parents, because sometimes life just passes us by and we don't really realize that we're building a childhood for our kids, that we're making their memories. And so I just wanted to hear what the kids had to say. And it was fascinating. Almost every single child said that one of their favorite memories was that their families were going on walks together. And it made me realize, oh my goodness, we didn't go on walks before the coronavirus. We didn't have time. And now walks are our saving, literally, sanity. We have to go on walks to get out of the house.
Right.
And so parents, pay attention to what your kids' favorite memories are and invest in those. And if it's the family walk, then I wonder what's going to happen when this is all said and done. Is the family walk going to stay in this generation, or are our kids going to continue to bug us because they love that family walk?
And I know for me, we've got older kids. Ours has been some game nights that we haven't done, but hey,
some
we need,
older kids said that for sure.
Before
Yeah.
coronavirus, it was always like, yeah, we need to do a game night, and we never would do it. Well, guess what? We've done game nights now
Several times.
or we've watched a show together, or something like that. Watched a movie together, something like so. And those might be other things that you might do with older kids as well. I'm trying to get my 7th grader to work out with me more, and so
Right.
and sometimes that's working, sometimes it's not. But when we do, I think it's a good thing.
That's so good. Yeah. So just pay attention to those memories. Ask them, what are some of your favorite memories? And what are some memories you would like to make? I asked my teenagers that. Well, what are some memories you'd like to make? And he was being a punk. And he was like, I'd like to go snow skiing. Slopes are closed. I'd like to go, parks are closed. I'd like to. And we're like, yeah. Anyway, so ask your kids. I'm sure that they'll have some ideas.
And hopefully they won't be a punk to you like ours was. So last question was, what's one thing your parents are doing that you really like?
And so I don't know that I tricked the parents necessarily, but I put this question in there because I wanted the parents to hear what they're doing right. To be inspired. Yes, from their kids' point of view, what it is that they're doing that their kids are enjoying. And I wanted their kids to brag on their dads and their moms too. And it was so fun because some of the parents were like, "What are your awesome, most amazing, most incredible parents doing right now?" And the kids like, "Let me see that question. That's not how that question went down." And so so they said such fun things like, my parents are playing with me. A couple of them said, my dad throws the football to me. He'll come out of his office when he's working and he'll come talk to us. And there was one boy that said, well, they're feeding us. And the mom texted back, I promise I fed them.
Well, but family meals
Yes.
are the meals and snacks and all those things. It's amazing how many kids talked about food.
So many of them, yes, because it's the highlight of the day when you're home all day.
Right.
Yeah. And so doing fun things, that's what I think that it boiled down to. What are they doing? And so ask your kids, what am I doing in this time that you really like? What is it that you like as a mom or as a dad, how I'm interacting with you, how I'm relating to you and engaging with you?
Well, and so, going back to what we talked about the first, just remember, parents, that, it's all about relationships.
Right.
And they are this whiteboard. You're marking on them, but you're also drawing them out. I mean, your job as a parent is to get to know the heart of your kid.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
so
we have time to do it now. We have tons of time to do it. And
well,
so
but
take
yet,
that.
so what happens so often is that what these parents have said, and it happens to us too. I didn't know my kid didn't know that. I didn't know how my kid was thinking. I didn't know what. Well, that's okay.
Exactly.
So let as I'm thinking about what we've said here, parents, you're doing a great job.
Yes.
We've seen over and over that parents are. It's a crazy situation, but. Especially parents of faith, parents that are believers and we have hope. These parents are engaging with their kids. They're seeing it as a positive. There's so many good things out there. But also, we think about, okay, what can we do? What can we do that's going to make April even more special for our family?
Proactive.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
You're doing it. Yeah. As parents, I agree 100%. You're doing a great job. And the kids' videos that I got back from them, they all were positive, upbeat. The kids were happy. It's working. You are engaging. You're doing it, and you're doing a great job. You're feeding them. You're playing with them. You're interacting with them. You're teaching them. You're doing it. And so just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then I was just going to say too that parents, as you ask your kids these questions, then share back with them. Relationship is a two-way street. And so share with them what you think and what you feel. What do you think about the coronavirus? What is quarantine in your own words? And share that with them, because what we say is what's written on our child's whiteboard in the biggest, boldest, permanent ink. Everybody else's can be erased, and it might even be in a different color. But what we say and what we feel and how we respond to our kids, that's the stuff that stays. That's the stuff that builds them into who they are. And so do that by answering those questions. So now you're having a conversation. It's not an interview anymore. It's, hey, what do you think about the coronavirus? Kid answers, and you say, well, this is what I think about it. Yep. And now child's written that on their whiteboard.
Well, and it's just a way to engage them. And, it's the start of a lot of questions and a lot of interaction.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, parents at Crazy Cool Family, as we wrap up, we've just prayed about you guys. We've been praying for you guys, and our goal is to just help make your April and May, if it goes into it, as special as possible.
That's
and
good.
So we've done a couple of things that we think will help you. One of them is just our podcast, and we're trying to help you speak into your kid's life. I think it was a great idea Suzanne had to go do this. We also created what we call the Social Distancing Family Game Plan. And if you'll go to crazycoolfamily.com/game plan, or if you go to our website and just go into free resources, you're going to see it there in the top. And we just sat down about a week and a half ago and just recorded about 4 short videos, about 10 minutes each, and you'll get them once you sign up. You get an email every day, so you can do it over
each day.
And we go through some work issues, some family issues, and some home learning ideas. And so we love the videos. We think, we just sat down and said, okay, if we could sit across from
6 feet.
6 feet away from a couple. What would we tell them, and what suggestions would we give them? And that's what we do. Just designed to make this season even better for you, to give you some vision for it, things like that. And also another thing we've done is just challenged people in this month to go read our book. Go read the Crazy Cool Family book. If you don't have one, go to the website. You can get one there.
Amazon will bring it to you.
Amazon, or you can get an electronic copy from Amazon as well. But what a great time to read a parenting book, a family book, and it's Suzanne and I taking 30 years of raising 7 kids and putting everything we could into the philosophies that God has given us to create your own Crazy Cool Family. And one of the things that we were just talking about before the podcast, so many things we learn later in life, and we say, oh, I wish I would have known those sooner.
Concepts, principles, ideas,
this
all of that.
book is designed to put that in you right now. Mm-hmm. Don't wait 10 years.
Don't learn the hard way.
Yeah, and learn from our stuff. Our mistakes are much cheaper for you than your own.
And our mistakes are in there.
Yes, exactly. So think about reading our Crazy Cool Family book, and as well as going to get the family game plan, crazycoolfamily.com/game plan, and you'll get on the emails. They'll send it to you. And I think those would be 2 good things for you to do. Other than that, go talk to your kids.
Go write on their whiteboard.
That's right. Go write on their whiteboard and listen to them. And
listen.
Yeah.
And laugh.
That's right.
And pray.
That's right.
All right.
Hey, parents, thanks for listening. We hope you have a great April, and go be crazy parents and go to crazycoolfamily.com.